And so without further ado, let us say hello to the one and only Karate Hottie, Michelle Waterson, repping that Body Armor brand. How are you, Michelle?
I was pulling my shirt up like, let me get this in there.
Yes. Oh, you got a shill for the ones who support you, right?
Of course, 100%.
How are you doing, Michelle?
I'm good. I tried to put some makeup on to cover this little bruise I got here, but
Oh,
I guess I'm gonna rock the one-sided purple mustache.
that's all good. It's you rock it well. So what is that? Is that a swollen cheek that you have there from the fight?
She caught me good, man. Karolina hits hard.
Wow.
She's really accurate, and the few punches that she did catch me with, they connected. So she got me here. I think it was an uppercut, and then here I got a bit of I think it was a straight right that she caught me with. So
Okay.
yeah,
I noticed on,
battle.
on Instagram, congratulations, you just hit 1 million followers. That's a really big deal. Probably a bigger deal than the winning streak itself in this day and age. 1 million followers is a nice little feather in your cap. But I noticed in the caption that you wrote, this past week has been a roller coaster of emotions. Any reason for, is that like your typical fight week roller coaster of emotions, or did something else happen? Okay, I'm not sure if we hear you now. I think we just lost Michelle's audio there. We're going to reconnect with her. It was all sounding and looking so good. I was even noting that to myself. All right, so we'll reconnect with Michelle here in just a second. Again, first 3-fight winning streak since winning 6 in a row from 2010 to 2014. Is she back? Michelle, you there?
I'm here. I'm
Oh, there
sorry. I
you
don't
are.
know.
Okay, all good. So I missed your answer to that question.
I just, there's so much nerves that come with fight week, um, and it's excitement and nervousness, and I just feel like, it was an ESPN coming from being on the undercard of Conor McGregor and Khabib, and I thought this was going to be like a little bit of a smaller fight, less media. I'm not main or co-main, but there ended up being a lot of media on me with the ESPN piece, and then the Destined crew following us, and also a bunch of people asking me about my daughter and Dana White buying all those cookies. So it's actually quite a bit of media, and I just found myself in a place where I was the same time after I beat uh, Paige, and it was like a crossroads. Like this is my chance to get to the next level, and uh, just all of those questions that arise in your mind as far as will I be able to get to that next level.
Are you happy with what you did on Saturday?
I am. I really am. I was able to go in there and be relaxed and allow myself to fight. Obviously, there are things to improve. I wish were able to get a finish, but once you start fighting these top level girls, it's a game of inches.
So 3 in a row. It's been a while since you've won 3 in a row. It's been 5 years since you've had a streak like this. Obviously, I mean, the wins speak for themselves. You're fighting tough people. Each and every fight, it's a tougher opponent. Is there a particular reason or two? Like, is life less stressful? Are things doing better for you in the gym? Like, how can you explain this 3-fight winning streak now?
I think life is continuously getting more chaotic.
Oh,
This fight camp, I had zero kitchen. We're remodeling the kitchen, so we kitchenless this entire fight camp, and it was my daughter's birthday, and just that's life, and I think what I've learned to do is to deal with the distractions as they come, and really take that as a learning tool for me, and to zero in on what I need to do, and to hone my focus on winning the fights.
so if you don't have a kitchen, where are you having your meals these days? Just curious.
One of my best friends here in Albuquerque does a home delivery, so she's been doing my fight camp meal preps for probably the last 5 years,
Oh,
and so it's Eat Fit Albuquerque, and she preps my meals for me every fight camp. So we have a little fridge here and a microwave and a little griddle, and we make do.
Okay, and the final tally as far as the cookies are concerned, in the end, first of all, did Dana pay for the cookies?
Dana did pay for the cookies the very next day.
Wow, how much? Could you tell us?
He bought 1,000 cookies,
And what does that
and
cost?
the cookies are anywhere between $4.25 and $5, and the shipping is a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, he spent a good amount of money.
Wow. Was that your idea or her idea?
It was hers, she was a little down because I was in training camp and we did the best we could. Plus she's in school. I didn't want to be the one selling her cookies for her. It's that's not the reason why they sell the cookies.
Right.
They have to learn business skills. That's the whole reason why they sell them. So when she wasn't in school, we took her to my gym. We took her to my husband's work, and made her hustle. But she made a really huge goal in trying to sell 2,000, and that wasn't going to get done with just going door to door and selling locally. So she decided to take advantage of her resources and contact my boss.
Nice. And did she I'm assuming she smashed that goal of hers, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So her goal was 2,000, and she ended up selling 3,000 boxes of cookies. After Dana shared it on his Instagram, she got a lot of traction.
Oh, wow.
And then he sent it over to Tony Robbins,
Oh my gosh.
who contacted us personally, and Tony Robbins bought an extra 1,000,
Oh,
and he decided to donate those cookies to our local food bank. So I got 1,000 boxes of cookies in my garage right now that we're getting ready to take over to the food bank.
wow. That is amazing. Well done to both of you and to everyone involved. That's incredible. So I feel lately, and I notice also on your social media, you're always hashtagging Fight Mom, and you're mentioning, that you want to be the first mom in UFC. This seems to be not a new thing because this has been a part of your story for a long time. Those have been following your career. Of course, there was the documentary that came out a couple of years ago that was phenomenal as well. But it seems like this is now like a real goal that perhaps you feel like you're the closest to achieving the goal, and you really want to make this happen. Is that why you're mentioning this so much these days?
For sure. I just think that it's just being a parent alone
Can't
is
help you.
sorry,
Check network settings.
Oh,
my fridge is talking to me.
wow. Must be nice.
Um, I feel like being a parent alone is just such a huge job, and it's a hard job. And I don't know, I kind of just want to represent for the parents out there. And like you said, there are other moms in the UFC. I want to be the first. It's cool to say that you're the first at something. So I
Yeah.
want to be the first champion that's a mom. There are champions that are dads, and that's amazing too. I would just want to be the first mom champ, and I think it'd be cool to represent that. And it gives me a motivation when I'm training, and I get stories from people that run into me at the grocery store, and they say they love the message I'm sending to parents, and the message I'm sending to their children, and that it's a family affair, and that we're all in it together.
Do you feel so? I appreciate you shooting your shot, but do you feel in your heart of hearts that you will get a title shot next?
I do, and I feel like at this point, what other reason would I be fighting than if it wasn't for the belt? There's so much sacrifice, time, energy, uh, brain cells
Yes.
put into this sport that if I'm not trying to shoot for the stars, what am I doing? Like, and man, I know I have what it takes. I know I have what it takes to be the champ. So why not? Why not ask for it?
Did you get any feedback from the bosses after the fight about your request? Do you feel like they are on the same wavelength as you?
I haven't gotten any feedback, but I'm sure I will soon.
Okay. Are you hoping that Jessica Andrade wins the fight because that's a fresh matchup? You have the history with Rose. It didn't go your way when you fought her, or do you want her to be champion? Like, is that the perfect scenario where you can avenge that loss and beat the person who last beat you?
Mhm. I can see it going either way. But I think that it's a great storyline that if I can get a rematch with Rose, and I honestly think it's crazy to me. Is she the underdog in this matchup? It's crazy to me that she is, but
Yeah.
I feel like Rose wins the fight. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I can get out to Brazil and watch that live.
Oh, you'd like that.
Oh yeah, 100%. I've never been to Brazil.
Okay, yeah, well, that would be a good reason. I think the consensus was on Saturday. What about Tatiana Suarez? She seems to be close as well. What is your response
Mhm.
to that?
I feel like I've been in the UFC a lot longer than Tatiana, and the females that I faced are of higher caliber, and so I think I'm more deserving of that shot.
I remember when you first came into the UFC, between your first and second fight, there was like a year plus break in between. You were injuring your hand, breaking your hand, and it just sort of felt like, man, Michelle Waterson, she worked so hard to get here. She's, a former Invicta champ, and they finally opened up a weight class that is suitable for her, and it just can't seem like you can get some momentum. Is it almost like, was there a point where you thought to yourself, this will be sort of my story in the UFC? Like, I have one or two fights, but my body's just breaking down on me, and now things have turned around, and you're so much more appreciative of it all because it was maybe not going to materialize into this?
Mhm. I feel like, in hindsight, everything happens for a reason. At the moment, it feels like, it's the end of the road, and anytime somebody hits a rough spot in life, that's what it feels like. But you just have to continue to trek forward and have faith in your path, and I know that those steps backwards were still steps closer to my goal, and they were necessary in order for me to get here where I am today.
I think you had a nice moment with Carlene. I mean, I know you wrote something about her afterwards. She wrote on your page as well. Did you speak to her after the fight?
We did. I well, after the fight, she told me she had something for me, and we cracked open a beer and shared a beer together in
Wow.
the back in the green room. And then I heard throughout fight week that she tried to order some Girl Scout cookies from Araya, but they wouldn't deliver to Poland. So Araya brought some Girl Scout cookies for her, and we had given those to her in her room before we left. And then she gave Araya her Polish scarf.
Oh my gosh. That's so nice.
Yeah, and I gave her my jersey. I'm trying to start this new trend, kind of how they do in soccer, where they switch jerseys. So I gave her my jersey because I feel like I don't know, maybe it's that I'm getting older, or I don't know what it is, but I just this is a rough sport, man, and we take things from each other that you'll never be able to get back. And I think it's important to appreciate your opponent because they're going in there and giving it their all, you know?
It felt to me like there was a real amount of respect between you and Carolina. Like she really she admired you and looked up to you, and it felt like you had the same kind of respect. Is it tougher when you're fighting someone that you feel that way about for you?
I think that was another thing that added to the set of nerves is how can I go out there and be this vicious beast and dominate and finish like I want to against somebody that I respect. And it's a part of respecting your opponent, in my opinion. I feel like I've gotten to a place where if I'm holding back, then and I'm not giving it my all, then that's a disrespect to my opponent. So I got to go out there and give it my all because in doing so, I'm showing them respect.
Hmm. By the way, did she give you her jersey as well?
No, I was too chicken to ask for it. I
What?
thought
Come on.
I wanted to ask for it. I thought it would be cool, you know? But I was too chicken. I was like, here, I wanted to give this to you. I don't
Well,
know.
and she just took it, or then she gave the scarf to your daughter?
Yeah, she gave the scarf
Okay.
over.
All right. No, I like that. Like, I don't know if you've been following like Dwayne Wade, the basketball player. After every one of his games, he's retiring at the end of the year. He does a jersey swap with someone on the other team. I feel like this could be a cool thing to show like the respect between the martial artists. After the fight, you give like you stand in the cage together. You do the swap. That's nice. That's a good trend. You should start
Yeah.
that.
I wanted to, but I didn't. I don't know what the rules are with like Reebok and stuff because I wanted to
Oh,
do it in the cage,
yeah.
but because they're always like, you got to put your shirt on so you could get paid. And I'm like, okay, does that mean I can't take it off to trade it with? I don't know. So I held off on it.
That's silly. Run with it next time. And if anyone asks you, tell them I said it was okay.
I blame it on you. Yeah.
Perfect. In a perfect world, when do you want to return?
Before the end of the year.
Okay. So you want to take a little break here?
I do. And not a break from training, because if I'm calling for the champ, that's a huge undertaking,
Right.
and I want to be 100% ready for it. With each fight, I feel like I'm getting better. I'm continuing to improve, and it's all the small stuff. I already have the confidence to step in and to call out the champ because I feel like I'm ready for it. But in between the fights, I think that's when you learn the most. That's when you're able to just develop your own skills and uh, worry about developing as a fighter and not having to worry about breaking down specific game plan for a specific fighter.
Okay. Yep. That makes sense. Could I ask? It seemed, at least to me, like you were like super shredded before this fight. Maybe a little more so than usual. Is that accurate?
Man, I felt good. I didn't realize how good I looked until I saw like, start until I started to cut the water off and I was like, "Man, my legs are huge." But I feel like I really took the time to listen to my body, and my husband's always pulling back the reins, and sometimes I have a tendency of overtraining. So I just really listened to my husband when he said, "Hey, take a break today, do this, do that," and and my husband's taking a huge step in being in my corner uh, for the entire fight camp. So he comes with me in strength and conditioning. Him and I do like sparring simulations, and I think it's been a tremendous help. Like he'll put the helmet on and let me go to town on elbows and knees like 100% as he's trying to buck me off, and that's just allowed me to really feel uh, what it feels like to go 100%.
Oh wow.
And
So
also just
go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say recovery, man. It's really underrated. I think recovery is the best time to allow your body to actually repair itself and to become stronger. And sometimes you're training off of, you know, a broken body, and then you don't allow your body to recover. And then when you go back in, you're not 100% when you're training in your next session, you're at 50%. So you just continue to break your body down. So I have a morning routine where I use the sauna and the cold plunge, and I roll out, and that's something that's become a daily habit.
So is your husband taking, clearly he's taking more of an active role in your camp. How long has that been for, and why did you guys decide to do that?
These last two,
Oh,
well, he's always been in my corner,
right.
but these last two, I think it was just kind of like two or three. My husband's sitting next to me giving me crap like, no, you've been beating me up for the last three fights. um, I think it's hard for him to see me hurt. It's
Okay.
hard for him to see me black and bloodied. And the best thing that he knew that he could do to prevent that was to help me get prepared for the fights. And so he's taken a step back from his job as a financial advisor and really stepped up in the coaching aspect of it. I mean, in all aspects of it, in the management and reaching out to people and all of that stuff. But he really believes in me and knows that I can be the champ. And he just knows that I need the time. We need the time, and we need to invest. We need to invest the right time and do it properly. And there's a small window of opportunity, and we need to capitalize on it.
Wow. So he actually left his job?
No, he can dictate his own hours. So he's cut down on the amount of clients he has.
Okay.
And so he still has his job, but what he does now, he runs his own practice, so he can pick and choose his clientele. But I'm his number one client.
As you should be. Congratulations on the win, Michelle. Congrats to you, your husband, your daughter, your mom, your entire family. I love how it's always a family affair. If people haven't seen the E60 profile on you and your family, I suggest they check it out. It's on our YouTube page. And the second part of the Destined series is coming out this week, which I think is really cool how they now do the aftermath. They haven't done that in the
Yeah.
past. So check that out on ESPN Plus. Thank you for doing this. Heal up and good luck with the kitchen remodeling. I know how big of a pain that can be as well.
Thank you, Ariel. It's always a pleasure to be on your show.